In this video, I want to show you a ToDos list management technique using a simple text editor. A Mac with TextEdit, but you could just as easily use Windows and MS Word or MS Wordpad. First, some basic instructions. We're going to take advantage of OLE, or Object Linking and Embedding. This will allow us to drag and drop our to-dos. The way I set mine up is I open a new file in Mac's TextEdit, and I set the margins and I set some tabs. You can set as many as you want, but this is what works best for me. Next, I want to put in some of those tabs. So I'll simply hit the tab key 3 times, once for this location, once for this location, once for this location, and hit enter. And I'll do that again. Tab, 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 enter, enter. Tab, 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 enter, enter. Tab, 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 enter, enter. Now if I look what I have, I'm going to use the right arrow key. And I'll show you in a second what I was setting up. First I need to fix something. On this one, I need a carriage return right here. You'll see why in a minute. To demonstrate what I've done, let's go to the first line with our tabs in it. Just using the arrow key here. Let's put in an X, right arrow, X, right arrow, X, right arrow, X, right arrow. This should be a line. Next right arrow drops a line. This is another tab row, X, X. I'm just hitting right arrow and X to fill these in. Okay, that one wasn't one, so let's take that back out. Okay, and that's all I'm doing is hitting tabs. The X's are just showing you where that line is, and then it's showing you that in between each one is a blank line. This is just the setup. Now, let's bring in a few to-dos that are on our to-do list. In this format, they're kind of unmanageable. What we can do using OLE is we can drag and drop these into place and organize them very easily. So first, let's take the first one, but let's learn something real quick if you don't already know. You can double click to highlight or triple click to highlight. If you double click, you highlight a word. If you double click and hold, you can drag over to highlight other words. So to do that, I double clicked and held the second click, and then I proceeded to drag it across the words and I let go. What that does is that highlights the words in that line. If I was to triple click, I would highlight all the words, everything on that line until the first carriage return. And that's common on Windows and PC, pretty much a standard. So let's say that I want to take this first to-do and I want to move him up into one of the slots. I'll double click, hold, and drag. Sorry, I triple clicked. Once it's highlighted, I'll click anywhere in the blue area, hold, and then drag. That took it up to the first slot. Let's say I want to put the next one in the second slot. Double click, drag, release, click and hold, drag. Practicing that will internalize it and make it really easy to use this list manager or this technique for a list manager. You may notice too when I set up the tabs, these first two are a little shorter and the last two are a little longer for longer entries like this guy. Let's double click, hold and drag. You can go either way. Release, click and hold, and drag. He was longer. I wanted to put him in a longer column, if you will. They're not truly columns. We're just using tabs to simulate that. And let's say that clear out emails. Was what I wanted in the third slot. So if I do this, I can simply drag and drop these into the slots we've created with our tabs and organize them. Let's say I put this one here, but I decided it's less of a priority. While it's highlighted, I can just click and hold and drag it to a different place. That's the basic technique we're talking about here. Okay, now that we have that in mind, I'm going to create some more tabs and marks just to illustrate something else here. So I'm going to go X tab, X tab, X tab, X, carriage return, X tab, X tab, X tab, X tab. Oops, we don't want that tab. Carriage return, X tab, X tab, X tab, X, carriage return. The X's are just to help us learn what's happening here. If I was to double click to highlight a tab, hit Command C or Control C on Windows to copy that to my clipboard, and then go up and choose the Find option, do a paste. See how it's marked where all the tabs are? That's really all we're doing is inserting tabs, creating these fake columns. There's no tab behind this X, there's a carriage return, so it's not marking those. That gives you an idea. That's to help illustrate this. What we're going to do is I'm going to replace some of these. So I'm going to say done here. But I'm going to take some of the X's out. So let's copy that with Command C, hit Find, paste. But let's mark the replace and say we want to put in nothing. I'm going to say replace. Slide that down so you can see it. Let's take out this one. So we're leaving the tabs. I'm taking out the X's. We were just using the X's so that we could see where the tabs were. We'll leave them in down here to illustrate what's going on. And what I'll do is I'll come up now and I'll triple click and drag to add the line with the tabs and one blank. I'll copy that to my clipboard with Command C, hit Command V a few times. We'll put some distance in there. Now if I use my right arrow, we can see those tabs are there. I'm just using the right arrow, saying go to the next, go to the next, go to the next. So we know those slots are there. So down in our to-do list, let's bring it up a little higher. Let's say we wanted to put paperwork piles to stores. Double click, highlight and drag, release. Over the selected area, click and hold. We could drag it up to this slot. File tax stocks in our new organizer. We could pop that over here. Check bills and auto pays. We could put that up here. Do you see how fast and easy this is? I'm just grabbing these things and dropping them in. Now let's say that actually this had a greater priority. Let's double click drag. Let's move him over into the first slot on that line. And we can put our pool maintenance, we'll grab him, slide him up into the second place here. So this is important because what you'll see is that what we're doing is we're using our placeholders, if you will, to drag and drop our to-dos in. And we can organize these into priority first, and then just mark them off as we go when we complete them. I'll show you a great way to organize this in a little bit. Okay, now that we've learned those techniques, that's really all we need to know. You could use the list this way. Just keep adding more lines with three tabs and 2 carriage returns, 3 tabs, 2 carriage returns, and you'd be setting up your tables based on your tabs. And you can drag and drop them into place. I like to organize mine a little more than that. I'm going to slide down where I've already put some resources. What I'm going to do is I'm going to triple click to grab the whole line, and I'm going to keep dragging to grab this. I'm going to hit Command C, copy. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to paste this up in the first position. Command V. Well, now I've got kind of a nice little header here. I think I'll add one more carriage return just to make that easier. And I have these to-dos that we organized, and I've given them a category. These are the things that are first, the most important. Let's say that also it'd be handy to keep things that we know are coming up, but they're not important today. Let's go down and grab, triple click and drag, release, copy, Command up arrow to jump up. And let's say that we're going to just paste it in right here. We'll move this down. Let's triple click drag, pull these. We'll click and drag. Now they're not in today, they're down in the activity pool. Let's go even further and create a completed section in case you're someone who wants to keep track of what you've already done. Let's go copy this. You can type this in. I'm just doing copy paste to make things go a little faster here. Okay, now I've got 3 categories for my to-dos. I've got my first or priorities. I've got my activity pool of things I need to do, but they may not necessarily need done today. They're just coming up. I add them as I think about them. And I've got my completed list just in case I want to search and say, you know, did I do that already? This completed list gets more and more important the older you get. Believe me. Trust me. Okay, this is starting to look better and it's starting to get useful. Let's, I added a few more to-dos into the activity pool offline so we could come up to our first day here. So these in the pool, these are activities that we've noted throughout the day that when we thought of things that needed done, we put them in. Now it's the next day and we want to prioritize them. And I'll show you a nice easy way to look and then choose the ones you want to drag into place and prioritize that we're going to focus on today. So first off in the activity pool here, what I like to do is I like to click right in front of the first word, and then I'll hold down the Shift key and hit the down arrow. That highlights that line. It just makes it easier for me to read. So we see there's bills on the Husky storage stack. Probably doesn't make much sense to you, but it does to me. We have enable insect spider spray pumps, clear out some emails, read more lessons in our electric circuits PDF. Okay, well definitely today we want to clear out some emails. So let's double click and drag, and we'll pop him up into the first spot on our list. Okay, let's come back, highlight the next line, hold down the Shift key, hit down arrow to highlight them. You could also do this with the mouse. I just prefer to do it that way. And we definitely want to work on our files and boxes today. So let's double click, grab this guy, we'll slide him up in number 2. This time I'll use the mouse. I'm just going to click and drag to highlight that line and release. Make it ToDos test video. We're definitely doing that. Change the auto intake filters. And so you see, how about the Photos app? We want to clean up some photo albums, organize our pictures a little better. Let's double click that, drag, and release. Then grab it using the techniques we learned before. Let's pop that up. So this is today, and this is our activity pool of things we want to work on. I'll take a few more. Okay, I filled that line. I'd like to add another line. So I'm going to come down to this tab line and space. I'm going to hold the Shift key, down arrow to highlight it. Command C to copy to the clipboard. And then I'll just hit Command V a few times to create some drop areas, drop zones, whatever we want to call them. Paste, paste, paste. There we go. We've created some places now. Let's see. We definitely want to try to squeeze in seal above the sliding doors today. We'll pop it up into one of the slots. And we want to get some more sod and water the sod that we've laid already. Let's fix the doorbell today. And let's, what should we do? I guess we'll fix the yard sprinklers. Okay, there we go. We have to, from the activity pool, we now have today's priorities. We can even prioritize a little more to say like, all right, clearing out some emails is definitely important. This we could put off for a while. It'd be more important to fix the doorbell. All right, I'll double click and drag to highlight that. Release, drag. Let's put the doorbell up there. So using this technique, we can organize our to-do list, get our focus and our priorities in order, and we're ready to start our day. Okay, we worked our way through yesterday, addressing keeping our focus and working on our priorities first. Now it's the next day. What did we get done? Well, we fixed the doorbell, so we can double click, drag, release, click and hold. We can drag it down to our completed. Let me put in some tabs. Return, return, tab, 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 return, return, tab, 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 return, return, tab, 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 return, return. Okay, I just made some drop points. We also worked on the file boxes, but we're not going to work on that today. We made enough progress, but we do have to finish it later on. Let's double click, drag that, and we'll drag that back into our activity pool. Needs done, it's not completed, but not today. We arranged some photos in our album. We'll have to do that again. So let's put it back in the activity pool. We got more sod, we watered everything. Let's mark that then as completed. Put that in our completed category. But let's say that we know we're going to need to water the new sod sections another day. So let's double click these parts. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold down the Option key, which will double it. And we'll drag that. That's going to be a daily thing. So let's drag that back up. Now we have water new sod sections, and in our completed area, I did that with the Option key. Okay, today we'll clear out some more emails again. We worked on the yard sprinklers, but it's definitely got a higher priority. We can get done. We are going to work on it today. It is a priority for today. So let's just drag him up and give him a higher priority. Also, we need to, today it's going to be important in our activities pool. We want to file tax docs in the new organizer we set up. And that's pretty important. So let's put that up here. Drop that into that slot. And we need to have our pull screens repaired. We'll put this up here. I'm going to left arrow down to highlight that and just put call to have screens repaired. Edit that a little bit to make it a little more clear. And maybe today we will add something new that's come up that we didn't ever get into our activity pool, and that's we need to mow the yard today. So we'll just add that up there. I just clicked in that slot, started typing, and we were done. If we want, we know that this line is tabs, and the next one's a carriage return. Tabs, carriage return, tabs, carriage return. We can highlight those and delete them just to pull things up, make it a little nicer. So that's how we manage the next day. We pulled things down into completed that were done. Things we worked on but are still going to need further work, but not today. We put it back into the activity pool, and maybe we thought of a few new things. And now we have organized today. We're ready, we're focused, and we'll just take these in order, get as many of them done as we can, and we'll be on to the next day. And that's how this organizer works. Next, we're going to take a look at a few fancy things, just to improve it a little bit, and maybe do some things you hadn't thought of. Okay, now that you know the operation and technique that I like to use, and by the way, I'd like to mention that I've had many to-do programs. This does not have alarms, but I have to say this has worked for me better than just about everything else, and I don't have to worry about the app going out of business, no longer being supported, all those types of things. So now, just to wrap up, let's look at some of kind of the advanced stuff, if you will, that you could do with this. One thing I like to do is come up into the daily and drag, highlight, and change the color. Since I'm using a black background, green is really nice here. If you want to copy something, like let's say work on file boxes from the activity pool, up here you can drag it up to one of the holes, and then at the same time turn it to green. And just anything you can do that being on top, having a green color, it just helps with your focus, and the more focus you have, the better chance you're going to have at completing your to-dos. Another thing that's kind of nice is you can also put links. So I'm going to hit Control-C to copy this to the clipboard. I'm going to come up and we'll just paste it right here. I'm going to use, when I do this, I'm going to use the command, it's actually Shift Option, Command, you hold all three of those down and hit V. And what will happen is it'll paste it in the same font size and color of wherever the landing point is. So I don't have to change that to green. I can just do it that way. But also here I need to pick up a screwdriver and I'm going to get it at Walmart. If you just double click the URL or web address, you can then right click and say open that link, and it will open that link up in the browser. So you can also put links in these tab spots or landing spots and immediately go to a website. So if there's a website, something you want to get, whatever the case may be, just put it there, and then after you highlight it, right click and say open with or open link, and you'll be good to go. You can also in TextEdit, as you see here, make it a link. Okay, now you'll see it's underlined and it takes on the link color. So if I come up, see the little hand saying if you click here, we're opening the web browser and we're going to that web address. So kind of a handy little thing. I like to use it a lot, actually. The last thing I'll share with you is the way that I can kind of subgroup things. And that is, I'll grab this example. I do it two different ways, actually. But I'll grab this one. You would type this in or whatever. And I'll change the color on it there. But let's say that I have a main thing like this auto project. And then I have all these subs that I want to do to it. I'll use the greater than as an arrow. So on the auto project, I'm going to get new tires. I'm going to change the oil. I'm going to check the antifreeze level. And then if I want to put another line below because I have even more items, I'll use the three tabs on the line below and put ... for kind of like etc. or more. And then you can put like new wiper blades, check transmission fluid, wash and wax, whatever you want to do that kind of makes it work for you. So for example, if I was going to complete this, I would hit enter, and then I'd give myself a free line and then put in my three tabs. Now I've created three more slots, and this one doesn't need to be there. So now I can say, okay, one of the other things I want to do is check the bills and autoplay. I must not have done that right, or else I missed. Let's try that. Let's drop that a line. Okay, I just missed. Let's put another one in here to give it a little space. Paperwork piles to stores. Whatever the case. So you can see how it fits in nicely, but it doesn't, and it keeps them grouped, kind of subgrouped, so that your focus is on all the things you need to do on that project, for example. And I will sometimes do that as well with without adding lines. Whatever makes you productive. That's really the key. Here with the guns, I'm going to refamiliar and organize myself with them, exercise them, and clean them. So I hope you found this useful. I have been getting great benefit from this ever since I started using it. It's very little time investment. Once you set it up, once you get used to double clicking and dragging, you're kind of done before you know it. Your day's organized, you're focused on what you need to get done. Priorities are coming first, and then when tomorrow comes, quick little reorganization, and away you go. Hope that helps. Hope you like it. Works for me. Take care. Be blessed.